Previously on Unscripted.
At the end of the year, Spotify, they do this Wrapped thing, right?
Yeah. But doesn't it tell you your listening age?
Yes, that's what I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
So I'm 20.
I knew it. Obviously, you are.
I love it.
You're listening to Unscripted with Skip Sherman and Josh Obadia.
Okay, Skip. So today we're going to do part 2 of our best of the year. Part 1 was pop culture. Part 2 is sports. I have to tell you that this was much more difficult than the pop culture.
I had a very easy time in knowing what I wanted to talk about in the sports awards, like the sort of like the honorable mentions, like all the possibilities. But I had a very difficult time in making a decision of who my favorite of all the categories that we're going to do is. Like I actually could still change my mind while we're talking before we like announce them.
This is exactly what I was going to say. Yes, there's many different options for all the categories. And even up until a few minutes ago before you called me, I was changing some things around because there's many worthy candidates, like I said, in each category. And I'm still not sure if I've picked the right one. Before we get to that, there's something that's bugging me.
Things that bug me?
I love it.
Last night I went out. I went to a concert. It's at a small little tiny venue in Toronto called the Bovine Sex Club. Actually, that venue is mentioned in a Beaches song.
Okay, so you're off to a great start. Let's hear it. Yeah.
And I get there, and there's a cover charge, which is fine. I'm happy to pay the cover charge, $15, whatever. But they don't take credit cards. They only take cash.
I mean, isn't that how it is for like a bar with a cover charge, or that's not how it is?
I don't know, but I don't carry cash with me. So Now this leads to another issue because now I have to go to a bank machine to get cash. Now, of course, they have an ATM in the bar, you know, those shady ATMs that charge you an exorbitant, transaction fee.
Yeah.
And I had no choice but to use that ATM.
Yeah, so taking out $20 costs you like $4.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I did that, but sometimes first of all, I never have cash on me. Sometimes I don't even have my credit card or my bank card on me because I have my phone that does everything. Had I not brought my bank card with me, I wouldn't have even been able to use the ATM.
Jesus. Okay.
Anyway, I used the ATM. I got the cash. They charged me the $4. It was annoying. It all worked out, but it was just very annoying.
What's the name of the band you went to see?
In Your Walls, the same band that I told you about last week. They play a lot of local venues, small shows.
Very nice. Right.
So anyway, but the real thing I wanted to talk to you about is, of course, I think if you've been listening to the news, the sports news lately, there's a lot of talk about the Olympics and specifically hockey at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because the venue where they're going to play the games isn't even ready for games yet, which is a joke.
I saw a video. I saw like a picture of the rink yesterday.
How does it look? I didn't see the picture.
It's like half built. There's not even like it's a construction site.
Yeah, I don't understand how that happens, but that's not really what I wanted to talk about. So, whatever you do now in the next minute or two, do not Google anything that I ask about.
Okay.
Have you looked at the schedule for the hockey? Have you looked at the schedule yet?
No, and actually that's a great question because I was wondering about it and I just never looked at it. Like, I'm assuming that the games are on in the afternoon here for hockey?
I think they're on in the morning. Like, I think 10 o'clock our time, I think. But that's not what I meant. I meant, have you looked at who is playing who?
Oh, no, I didn't look at anything.
Okay, so don't look at anything. Don't look it up. Every team, this is in the men's tournament, every team plays 3 preliminary games.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, for a team like Canada or USA, those 3 preliminary games are not exactly tough games.
Right.
Because you don't play like a tough game until you get to the next round. So I'm going to give you 2 different schedules of 2 different teams. One of them is Canada's schedule. One of them is USA's schedule. I'm not going to tell you which is which.
Okay.
You're going to tell me which schedule you would rather have.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. So one team has to play Denmark, Latvia, and Germany.
Okay.
The other team has to play France, Switzerland, and Czechia.
Very hard.
I think I know which schedule I would rather
I
have.
think I'd prefer schedule number 1.
Denmark, Latvia, Germany.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Because Denmark's no good. Latvia is up and coming, but they're still no good. But they're not a joke anymore. And Germany is actually decent. They always compete. But on the other side, you have Czechia, who's really a good team. They're not in. They're like a caliber above all these other teams.
Correct.
Right. They're the type of team you could play in the next round. So that's why I prefer to stay away from them. And Switzerland is also no joke because they're also competitive. They're about as good as Germany, to be honest. So I think schedule number 1 is easier. Yeah.
So I had the same thought as you. And so now I'll reveal whose is whose schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So USA has to play Denmark, Latvia, Germany, and Canada has to play France, Switzerland, and Czechia.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can't control the draw sometimes.
I guess not, but I thought they were supposed to do it in the sense that there's a world ranking of all the countries for hockey, and the higher you are ranked, the easier schedule you're supposed to have, I thought.
But sometimes the world ranking on this is messed up, right? Because they use the like IIHF World Championships as a bar for that. And
I think you're right.
Often and Canada and US often just like it's not a good measuring stick, that tournament, you know?
In any case, do we have any listener mail?
Mailbag.
Yes, we do. Derek from Montreal. This guy is constantly giving us new nicknames to go from our nicknames.
Still on the
episode.
nicknames. How long ago did we do that episode?
I think 3 episodes ago, maybe. Another nickname. This time, the Colorado Avalanche goalie tandem of Scott Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood. He says they should be called, or maybe they are called, the Colorado Lumberyard.
Did he just make that up?
I don't know. If he did, I don't like it, but anyways. I don't know who made it up.
Okay.
And he said thank you. He liked our pop culture episode, and he thanked us for, well, more me, actually, for giving a shout-out to his McGill University podcast that he hosts. And then we got an email through our website from Fareed from Montreal, my friend. Mm-hmm. And it's actually more directed at you. So actually, I should have told you to go read the email or forward it to you.
Okay. Or you could have printed a hard copy and then driven over here and handed it to me.
I could have put a stamp on it and put it in the mail.
Right.
Snail mail. I went searching for some of the bands Josh had mentioned in when we're talking about, our song of the year. He says he's always looking for new music. He said, I think you mentioned a band called Talk.
I did, yes. They're from Ottawa.
Yeah, he says, I thought I was going to get something more like July Talk, which is a band that he knows. But he says, no, not for me. He did not like Talk.
Okay.
Metric, he said, not bad. I enjoy them. In Your Walls, which you've just mentioned a few minutes ago, he says, I like a lot, and lots of their music is on Apple Music too, so he was able to listen to a lot of In Your Walls. And then he says, a recommendation for Josh is a Canadian band called The Wooden Sky. Have you heard of them?
I haven't, but I'll look them up when we're done here.
He says, I think Josh would like them. He may already know them, maybe. And he says there's some similarities with Blue Rodeo.
Great.
Thank you, Fareed, for that. And I figure you would like, you're always into listening to new music. So.
I am, yeah.
All right, that's the mailbag, and we're going to get on to the awards, right?
Yes, we'll be right back after this to bring you our Best of 2025 Sports Edition.
You're listening to Unscripted.
I'm Joseph DeMedictis.
And I'm Ross Citrulo.
And we're doing this podcast so we don't have to go home and get a real job.
Exactly.
That's right. And we're doing it to tell you about our pursuit of the dreams we've had since being a kid, being young, trying to get into the entertainment industry. Us, we're mid-career, sort of. We're kind of halfway broken in a way. But we both have these big dreams and big goals.
Aspirations, really.
For our careers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This podcast is about the journey through the industry, trying to make it, but trying not to have to give up.
So listen to our podcast on all the places you might listen to a podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We have our own YouTube channel where you can watch the video version. All the links can be found at you'llnevermakeit.ca. Here's hoping we do.
And now, back to Unscripted.
Okay, Skip, we're back.
So we're gonna hand out our awards for sports this year. It was an amazing year in sports for fans everywhere, and I think even more for me personally, which I'll get into in a second. Just to set the scene, the awards we're gonna give out are Play of the Year, Worst Play of the Year, which is always a favorite, our favorite athlete of the year in any sport, the game of the year in any sport, and the team of the year also in any sport. So that's what we're gonna do. I started keeping track of all this right away. January 1st, I'm like getting ready. Like, what's going on in sports? If anything big happens, I got to write it down so I don't forget. And I really thought that my awards were finalized, like finalized and done, like in February.
Yeah,
2 months
and I know
into
why.
the-
Because of the Super Bowl and because of the Four Nations face-off.
100%. Like the Super Bowl with the Eagles winning, obviously everybody who listens know I'm a huge Eagles fan. This was massive for me. And then a month later, we got this incredible Four Nations tournament that came out of nowhere. Like no one expected this to be anything, and it just sucked us all in. And then, of course, there's plenty of stuff in that tournament that's worthy for these awards. So I really thought that I had it all wrapped up. But then, then came October, and then we had the Jays, and now this magical Jays playoff run somehow has to be in the mix, in the awards we're going to talk about. So everything I have, all my honorable mentions, it's basically like the Eagles, the Jays, and the Four Nations mixed in with a little bit of NBA. There's some NBA factors in there, but yeah, that's where I'm at with mine. What about you? I think it's going to be mostly the same.
Yeah, we could have a bunch the same. I have obviously no Philadelphia Eagles. But yes, everything came down to Four Nations face-off and October baseball.
Yeah.
So like, for example, for best play, I narrowed it down to 5 plays, and all 5 of them come from those two things.
Yeah.
For worst play, I narrowed it down to like 6 or 7 plays, and they all come from those two things.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a lot of all the same honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And like we just said in the intro, like we might, like, I highlighted who my winners are here, but like, it's like a flip of a coin sometimes for some of these things.
Right. I like I said, I made a change, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. All right, so let's start with the play of the year. What was the best play of the year? These highlight reels come out, around Christmas time, and
I haven't seen any of those yet.
No, because we're a little bit early, right? So like soon we're gonna see these blooper reels and the best plays, the best catches, and all that. But like for me, like I'll give you my honorable mentions. Saquon Barkley provided us. Well, I mean, a lot of this was in 2024, but 2025, just in the playoffs, he provided us with a couple of crazy highlight reel runs. There's 2 in the snow versus the Rams in the playoffs. There's this ridiculous run on the first play of the game that the Eagles ran against Washington. So those are worthy. Cooper DeJean, pick 6 in the Super Bowl. Like, that was massive. I'm giving Eagles stuff here. And then Jalen Hurts threw a bomb to Devontae Smith in the Super Bowl, which is also an incredible play. And then my son reminded me that Tyrese Halliburton had an incredible buzzer beater this year in their run in the NBA Finals. But like we mentioned, the Four Nations, the play of the year has to be. To me, there's no doubt about it. Connor McDavid's goal in overtime of the final game of the Four Nations, like that has to be the play of the year for me.
Carr sends it around. Martin waiting. Connor McDavid scores! Connor McDavid for Canada!
That's an amazing pick. And yesterday, I think that was my best play of the year.
Yesterday.
I changed my mind. So you mentioned Connor McDavid. You didn't even mention in that same game the save by Jordan Binnington. Was it in the third period or overtime or both?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Binnington had tons of highlight plays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, in the Four Nations face-off, in Game 1, in the first 2 minutes of Game 1, that amazing goal by Nathan McKinnon on the power play.
Yeah.
Which I think you missed, actually, because you turned on the game too late.
No, I got it. Eventually I saw it, yeah.
So, you're sitting there to watch this, and like I'm so anticipating this event, and then within the first 2 minutes, Canada goes on the power play, and then they pass the puck around like I've never seen anyone pass the puck around, and then the puck's in the net. I'm like, how did that happen? So that was amazing. Then you could go to the World Series where Addison Barger hits a grand slam in the World Series.
Massive play, yeah.
Which was huge. So any of these were worthy, but none of them actually is the one I'm picking.
And McDavid's overtime goal is not what you're picking either.
No, like I said, yesterday, if you'd asked me, I would have said that, but not today.
So what is it?
It's in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series where George Springer hits a 3-run home run, and the Jays take the lead in that game and end up winning the series.
Exactly the part of the lineup you want up in a situation like this. And a swing and a fly ball to left field. Back goes Arozarena. She's gone!
You can't understate like the magnitude of that home run, especially here in Canada, like on the Sportsnet and TSN. Well, Sportsnet, the rights holder, like it was massive. Like this you heard this from coast to coast. You felt it. It was such a huge play that it propelled the Jays to the World Series. It was actually unbelievably huge. Yeah.
And I was actually, there's a party room in the building where I live, and there was a bunch of people watching the game there, and I was watching it with them.
Yeah.
So like the room erupted when he hit the home run.
I'm sure. Yeah. It's a very good pick.
That's the best play of the year.
Worthy, definitely worthy, in terms of how big it was, like, yeah, good one.
I can't argue with yours. So I'll go first on the next one. Worst play.
Sure. Yeah.
So no surprise, this is my favorite category because I love the negative stuff.
But I really had a hard time remembering all the bad plays.
I wrote them all down.
Let's hear what you have. Yeah.
So first of all, okay, this is not, I'll just tell you the ones that didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you recall Duke basketball last game of the year in the Final Four where they had, a 17-point lead or something?
The reason why I didn't recall is because I blocked that out of my memory.
Right. Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
And they had a 17-point lead and blew it. The worst play of that game is Duke could not inbound the ball. Like something that happens, I don't know, 100 times a game. They just couldn't inbound the ball. They turned it over, and that led to Houston taking the lead and ended up winning the game. So that was a terrible play.
Awful.
Another terrible play. In Game 4 of the National League Division Series between the Phillies and the Dodgers, you may recall it was the bottom of the 11th, so obviously a tie game. The bases are loaded for the Dodgers, and there's 2 outs. And the pitcher for Philadelphia is Orion Kerkering. And the batter for the Dodgers is Andy Pages. And by the way, Pages was 0 for 4 at the time in that game. And he hits a comebacker to the mound. Now there's a force at every base. So Kerkering can throw home, he can throw to first, and the inning will be over. But he bobbles the ball. He eventually picks it up. He decides to throw home, but he throws it crazy wild, nowhere near home plate. The Dodgers score, and that's how the series ends. Like, it's one thing for a game to end that way, but for the series to end that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a really bad play.
Like, that could have been the worst play of the year.
Yeah.
But that's not the one I picked.
Okay.
In the World Series, the baseball getting lodged under the wall.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that one, but that could have been the worst play.
But that's not like anybody's play. That's just like a weird thing.
Right.
Yeah.
All of the rest are in the World Series now. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa being thrown out at home plate because he didn't take a big enough lead.
Yeah.
Addison Barger getting doubled off at second base in Game 6, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette getting picked off first base. I think that was in the 18-inning game, but early in the 18-inning game.
Oh, that was terrible.
George Springer being thrown out at second base because he stopped running because he thought it was ball 4.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff in the like we said during the World Series, like after World Series ended, and we kind of did a debrief of the whole World Series. This World Series like gave us like crazy stuff. Like weird stuff after weird stuff that we never saw before, just like kept giving us more and more, Yeah.
So now I'll tell you what my worst play of the year is.
Okay, let's hear it.
Jeff Hoffman giving up a home run in the 9th inning of Game 7 of the World Series. I mean, I don't know that it gets much worse than that.
I mean, yeah, like you could look at worst play in the same way that we look at best play, in terms of the magnitude of the play, how big it was and everything. That's obviously like McDavid's goal in overtime wasn't the most beautiful goal, right? But yeah, for me, it was the best play because it was so huge. And I could see why you're saying the worst play is, yeah, I mean, but the thing is, if you're a Dodger fan, that's the best play of the year.
Right.
Right? So the worst play of the year for me, and you named all of them. So I had three that I wrote down. One of them is Kiner Falefa out at home. Like that was, as we're watching the replay, and you can still watch the replay now and still not know if he was safe or out. Like honestly, like you can't tell. And as it was happening, I was like, I can't believe the World Series is about to could be decided here on an instant replay. Like that's what almost happened. Like the Jays almost won the World Series right there.
Yeah.
And Barger doubled off second, brutal. I mean, but it's hard to blame him too. And but for me, the worst play of the year is the one you described. It's Orion Kerkering. That is like, I feel bad for the kid. He's a good pitcher, and he bobbled it. And you could see the catcher basically waving to him, "Don't throw it here." Like he's telling him not to throw home. He's pointing at first to show him to throw to first because it's the easier play, much easier play. Everybody watching that play on TV can see if he throws home, it's not going to work. Even if it
was a good throw, he's going to be safe at home.
Even if the throw's perfect, I think he's still safe at home. So to me, that is the worst play of the year because we talk about the Jays and the Dodgers and the World Series and 7 games and an 18-inning game and an 11-inning game and everything the World Series gave us. And obviously the Jays took the Dodgers to the brink. The Phillies really gave the Dodgers a run. Like it was that series. I know it ended 3-1, but it was much, much closer than it seemed.
Actually, I counted. The Phillies actually scored more runs in that series than the Dodgers did.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and that last game, the Phillies could have easily won that game. It would have been 2-2. We would have went to Game 5, and who knows what would have happened. So that Orion Kerkering to me is the worst play of the year. It's just for a series to end on that thing is just so bad.
Very nice.
All right. So player of the year or athlete of the year in any sport. I gave 3 nominations. And Connor McDavid was one of them. Obviously, he dominated the NHL again. He went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals again. Game, they lost. And then, of course, he was the huge hero in the Four Nations. So, like, McDavid is just a generational player. Like, he could be on this list every year. I put Jalen Hurts down just because I'm an Eagles fan, and Saquon Barkley because of everything they gave me in the Super Bowl and in the playoffs, and Jalen Hurts especially in the Super Bowl. But for me, the player of the year is from the NBA, and that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I know we don't talk about the NBA a lot, but I think he was your player of the year last year.
I think he was, yes.
So this year, he took it even a step further. He won the most valuable player in the league, and they won the championship. And then I don't know if you know how they are this year, but they are unbeatable. They're on a crazy pace this year. Right, like I checked the stats yesterday. They're 24-1 to start the NBA season this year. All that and everything being considered, and the fact that he's also Canadian. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is my favorite athlete of the year.
So that's an excellent pick, and I considered that same pick, and I'm not sure if he was my athlete of the year last year or the year before.
Yeah.
But I certainly picked him recently because there was one year where I picked Summer McIntosh.
Oh, that's right.
And as you said, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's having a better year this year than he did last year. So he's definitely worthy of being my favorite athlete. And so, by the way, is Summer McIntosh because she had a great year too. She won a bunch of world championships. She broke some records. She even beat Katie Ledecky in a race.
It's hard for swimmers, for those Olympic sports to stand out in a non-Olympic year.
For sure. And I could have picked Vladimir Guerrero Jr., because had the Jays won the World Series, he probably would have been the MVP of the World Series.
Yeah, probably.
I could have picked Lane Hudson, who was the first Montreal Canadian to win Rookie of the Year since Ken Dryden.
Yeah, nice.
I didn't pick any of those.
Who do you got?
I went completely off the board. I picked tennis player Gabriela Dabrowski. So she's Canadian. I don't know how much you follow doubles tennis.
Okay, continue. She's your athlete of the year. I know she had a great year, but continue.
But I'll tell you why. I don't know if
Okay.
you know everything about her. So she's a doubles tennis player. Her and her partner, Aaron Rutliff, they won the U.S. Open doubles, which is not a small deal. But more importantly, last year she revealed her battle with breast cancer. So the fact that she was able to overcome that and then win a Grand Slam, to me, is a pretty big deal.
I can't argue with that. I wasn't aware of this whole story, but that's a
lot of people aren't aware of it. So
Yeah.
so that's why I'm picking Gabriela Dabrowski as my favorite athlete of the year.
All right, game of the year. We're gonna talk about the same stuff that we just talked about.
Exactly. So here are the choices for game of the year. Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, which I already talked about. Even though the Jays lost, that 18-inning game in the World Series was a pretty insane game.
Yeah.
And I stayed up until 2:50 a.m. to watch the entire thing.
I bailed after 14.
But the game that I'm picking as my favorite game is the championship game in the Four Nations face-off that went into overtime where Canada defeated the United States. That's my game of the year. I mean, I can't recall a game that I was so excited to watch before the puck drop even. It doesn't happen very often that I'm so excited to watch a game before it even starts.
I mean, it could happen again this year if it's a rematch in the Olympics.
Absolutely, absolutely. But this is the first time they've had best-on-best hockey players in, 10 years or more?
Yeah, yeah.
So everyone in Canada was anticipating this. There were some people who were like, this is just another all-star game. It's meaningless. And I don't understand those people, but whatever.
But I was one of those people. Like, I talked about this with my son this week because I told him what we were doing today in the podcast, and we kind of agreed like that Four Nations kind of snuck up on everybody because I didn't know what it would be. Like I thought, it's just gonna be like a weird. Are they really? You don't know. Are they gonna try? That's the main thing. Are they gonna try? Because if it's like the World Cup of hockey that they did, or whatever it was called, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that they did like at the start of the season before the season started a few times they had this.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't really good because there was no intensity, right?
There was no intensity because it was in September.
That's what I'm saying.
But
you don't know if there's going to be
the best players from their respective countries.
Yes, but there's got to be something on the line. And everything changed when the USA Canada came out and had the game with the fights. like that was like, okay, it's on, you know? Like we got something, we're doing something here, right? This is legit. And then of course there's the background of all the politics with Trump and the Canada and the 51st state. That just fueled everything. Like it just the tournament just became so great because of it. So I did have the Four Nations final as a nominee for my game of the year. I also had the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Super Bowl means a lot more to me than it does to non-Eagles fans, and Chiefs fans just want to forget about it. I'd love to cheat here. I love to cheat and say honestly that the World Series, all 7 games, could be counted as the game of the year. Like
that's something that you would do. You've cheated in the past.
Yeah. But I mean, if I had to pick the game of the year, it has to be the World Series Game 7. Like that's just, Game 7, the World Series goes to extra innings, like the whole thing. The whole thing. Like you can say the 18-inning game, but the 18-inning game wasn't as exciting because for like a good 7-8 innings here, nothing happened.
That's true. That's true.
But the World Series Game 7, it had it, gave us everything it could. The World Series gave us everything we wanted this year, except for obviously for a Jays fan, the outcome.
That's a worthy pick.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, like we said at the beginning, all these are worthy picks. If I would have said the Super Bowl was my game of the year, you couldn't argue.
I actually thought you were going to pick the Super Bowl.
Well, now we're going to lead into Team of the Year, and then that's where we're going to go with that.
Okay.
So the Team of the Year, we have the same things.
No, we
Team
don't.
Canada at the 4. No, we have the same nominees.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Like like as we've been talking about. I mean, the same general theme in that it's the Canada at the Four Nations, Oklahoma City Thunder, the Jays. I mean, I think most Canadian sports fan would tell you the Jays are their team of the year this year, but just because of the excitement they provided.
Right.
But for me, it was the Philadelphia Eagles, because delivering that Super Bowl, destroying the Chiefs, the celebration in my house was, you have no idea what happened here. Like, it was nuts. Like, when Cooper DeJean returned that interception for a touchdown, like, me and Matthew were my house exploded. Like, I almost blacked out. Like, I had to sit down.
That's great. That's so
You know, it was just the Eagles this year and the playoffs, because I should say this year. I mean, this current season, they're up and down, and they're providing more frustration this year than anything. But the Super Bowl and the playoff run that happened early in 2025 is gonna always we're gonna always have that. I'm gonna always have that.
So, I mean, I had some of the same nominees as you. Obviously, I don't have the Philadelphia Eagles. I had as one of my nominees for the team of Gabrielle Dabrowski and Aaron Rutliff, because technically they're a team. But my favorite team is Team Canada from the Four Nations face-off.
Wow, I love it.
For obvious reasons, they won the championship. Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but they won whatever it is that it's called. Really, it was only about 8 days, that whole thing, I think.
Yeah, it was short.
It was a fun 8 days, that's for sure.
The Olympics are going to live up to it. But I mean, Canada should have almost the same team.
I mean, assuming NHL players actually go, because if the ice isn't deemed good enough, the NHL has said they're not going.
The weird thing is, they said that they were, normally for a tournament, well, first of all, the ice is like 3 feet shorter, and everyone's freaking out about this. I don't know if you heard, but
I heard, yeah.
That's not a story, because the NHL agreed to that.
Right.
Like, this is not something that's new. This is what it.
And you're not going to even notice it watching it at home, by the way.
This was always going to be that way, right? But the
quality of the ice is important.
No, of course. And the thing with a tournament like this, they usually test the ice, the venue, everything that's going on. There's security concerns, the whole deal. Like, everything that needs to be tested for an Olympic venue, they usually test that well in advance. And now I'm hearing that, like, it's the first game that's going to be played in this rink is one of the women's tournament games.
Yes.
Earlier on in the Olympics.
Yes.
And they're only testing the arena like a week before. Like, literally, this is going to be
January
like
9th is when they're testing it the first time.
I'm sure you've seen documentaries about the Expos. There's the book, I forget, Jonah Carey's book, the history of the Expos, where they basically tell you that, like, they were putting in the seats literally the day before the first game at Jarry Park.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
They had to put lawn chairs out in the outfield because they didn't have enough seats. They had to go buy chairs, I feel like we're going to be in the same situation here. But I don't understand, like, if the arena's not ready, like, we're in Europe. There are at least 20 countries within a 2-hour flight that have an arena.
I already have the solution for you. They're just going to go to Switzerland. I mean, they haven't said this, but they'll fly to Switzerland. They'll fly to Switzerland, which is an hour flight. Actually, they won't have to fly there. They'll just go to Switzerland. They won't even go to Italy, and they'll play it. And they'll play it in Switzerland. Milan
is northern Italy.
I know.
It's a 2.5-hour drive from Milan. I already looked this up. From Milan to Lucerne in Switzerland. Like, this is not I think it would have to be on Olympic ice in those cases. Those rinks are Olympic size.
Right, and they've played Olympic hockey on Olympic ice before.
Yeah, like, I don't understand why they're not even considering moving, unless they are and we're just not hearing about it. That I don't know.
Right, and by the way, they have 2 hockey rinks in Italy. For this, because there's so many games going on at the same time, they have to play in 2 different rinks.
Right.
The other one, I'm told, the ice is fine, but I don't think it holds as many fans, so they don't want to play that many games at the other rink.
And the other place they can go, didn't Torino, didn't they host the Olympics in our lifetime not that long ago?
That arena might not even exist anymore, for all I know.
I know, but I mean, like, it's not that far either. I mean... anyways, like I said,
there are many options. The other option you didn't even consider, since the NHL is already shut down, the schedule's been made forever. They could play the tournament in North America at, like, the Bell Center or at the Scotiabank Arena. Like, they could do it wherever they want. because all these arenas actually the Bell Center is probably packed with concerts, and who knows. But
like, I don't know if you remember, but like in the past Summer Olympics, the Paris Games, like,
I know what you're going to say.
Do you know where the surfing competition took place?
Nowhere near France.
No, it was in Tahiti.
Correct.
Right? So yeah, anything's possible.
Right. And they were even considering for these coming Winter Olympics, there was a possibility that the bobsleigh and the luge would have to be done in Lake Placid.
Oh my God.
I mean, they've fixed that now. It's not going to happen. But so if they were considering that, they could play this hockey tournament anywhere, really.
I think we're getting close. We're getting to an Olympic discussion here, but I think we're getting closer and closer to something that we talked about anytime that there was the Olympics, in that is this the era of like Olympics being awarded to like new cities where they have to build stuff and get, because Paris didn't really want to build stuff. They kind of retrofitted existing structures, right? I think that's the model, right? So like they shouldn't be awarding the Winter Olympics to Milan if they don't have a hockey rink, right?
Right. They should just pick 8 countries.
Yeah, and it should rotate.
And they just rotate. That's it. Like,
and you have
like
the same
Super
venues
Bowl
there.
doesn't go to all 32 teams.
No, I mean, remember when the Super Bowl went to New York, people were up in arms because, oh my God, they're going to have to play in the weather in the Super Bowl.
Right. So, like, not every country needs to have their chance at hosting an Olympics. You pick like 8 countries and you just rotate between 8 countries that can manage this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the right solution. All right, well, those are the awards, and I'm going to start my list for the 2026 best ofs. Like, I'm going to start it right now. Like so actually, if there's an amazing play like now, like at Christmas or whatever, I think I might have to include it in like the next year's
100%.
list. It's only fair,
if Jacob
right?
Fowler makes an amazing save tonight, it's going to be a potential best play of the year.
Good, very good. I like how you threw in a little Jacob Fowler mention.
Okay, we'll be right back after this with some final thoughts.
You're listening to Unscripted.
Hey everyone, Skip here. I'm really excited to invite all of you to follow my new account at Skip Cooks on Instagram and TikTok. I'll be sharing my love of cooking with recipes in the form of 1-minute music videos, all set to some of my favorite songs. Don't miss out, follow me, and let's have some fun in the kitchen.
Unscripted with Skip and Josh is available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you listen to the show through Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. To interact with the show, send an email to skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. Follow the show on Twitter and go to Facebook to like the show page. And now, some final thoughts from the guys.
All right, so final thoughts, similar to what I did last week where I told you the most anticipated shows and movies that were going to be coming out in 2026. I did my own research. I didn't do research. I just did my own thoughts. Usually final thoughts, it's like I have an article that I want to tell you about or something, but this is like literally my own thoughts. What can we expect in 2026 in sports? So we already talked about the Olympics, especially hockey, if the rink is built in time. So obviously 2026 is a different kind of year because we have an Olympics. Major League Baseball, what can we expect? A labor stoppage, a strike, or a lockout? Like, is that on the horizon in baseball? I'm sure you saw this week Edwin Diaz signed with the Dodgers.
The Dodgers is just ridiculous. Like, they're the best team in baseball, and then they just signed the best closer in baseball. Like,
and did you hear this rumor that they're like, I don't know who made it up or if there's any legitimacy to it, that Tarek Skubal is the Tigers are gonna trade him to the Dodgers?
I heard that rumor. Yes.
I mean, if Skubal ends up on the Dodgers and they pay, obviously they're gonna have to pay Skubal like the biggest contract for a pitcher right now. Like it only goes up. The contracts don't go down. I think. I mean, just the signing of Edwin Diaz, I think, is like the salary cap topic and the potential work stoppage, because the players are so against the cap, and obviously Rob Manfred is trying to push it. But I mean, the Dodgers, every time they acquire someone, it's just more ammunition for a salary cap, right? Like, I just don't.
Yeah, no, I mean, they do need a salary cap, and the players are so adamant that they don't want one. I mean, look, all the other leagues have a salary cap, if I'm not mistaken.
In some way, shape, or form, yeah.
And you know what? The players in all those leagues still get paid millions of dollars.
100%.
So in other words, you could have a salary cap in baseball and the players will still get paid millions of dollars.
The NHL, I think what we can look forward to is a new champion. I think Florida, they appear to be done. They're bare. I mean, the playoffs, it's too early to talk about are they going to make the playoffs or not. But like right now, they're just on the bubble. But really, it's because Colorado only has 2 losses this year. So
with Florida, it all depends on if their injured players can come back, before the playoffs.
But the thing is, by the time they come back, they might not be in the playoffs.
That's true. I think they will somehow squeak in, but
yeah. Oh well, and then the NBA. I mean, I think we're looking forward to a repeat of the Oklahoma City Thunder. As I mentioned before, they're 24-1. So what we really are going to try to see is, are they going to be the best team in history in terms of their record? It's pretty wild, like to see a team being 24-1. Like this is not normal, right?
It is crazy, yes. And in the NBA, since you mentioned it, I think I don't follow the NBA, but I don't think there's really any good teams in the Eastern Conference.
No, they all suck.
So in other words, whoever wins the Western Conference is likely going to win the championship.
And if you look at the standings, I don't have them in front of me. The Lakers have a really good record. Like they're
which is
very
surprising.
Strong. Well, they have Luka and but like 24-1, like they're it's done.
Well,
like
Oklahoma is
done.
the Colorado Avalanche of the NBA.
Yeah. And then in the NFL, which is, the season's like we're right in the middle of everything right now, and the playoffs are in about a month away or a little bit more. We talked about it like I think off air before we hit record, and that anything could happen. Like right now, to me, like the NFL is any given Sunday. Like you don't know who could win. Like every week, the last like 6 weeks, if you look at the scores, you're like, how the hell did this happen? How the hell did this team beat this team? Where did they come from? Never mind that the Patriots are in first place and things like this. That's fine. There's always last to first in the NFL. That happens every year. But like when you just look at week to week, there's like, how did this happen? You look at the scores, you're like, what's going on here, right? But the one thing we can be certain of in the NFL is that the Chiefs are done. Like they're not going to be in the Super Bowl. They're not going to be in the playoffs. Like the Chiefs are not going to be in the playoffs. I think they have like a 6% chance or something of making the playoffs as it stands.
So by the way, the people who work at the NFL head office love this. They love the fact that you never know who's going to win on any given Sunday. They love the fact that like there's 4 or 6 or 8 teams that have a chance to win the Super Bowl. They love it.
I mean, but it's great for the fans too.
Yeah, it is.
So that's 2026. That's where we're going in 2026.
So you just finished saying how good the NFL is. Do you know what the opposite of the NFL is?
What?
College football.
Oh, it's a mess.
College football is the biggest joke. The way they determine which teams play in the playoffs is a joke.
Yeah, it's a
mess.
And
could you imagine, by the way, like the NFL coming out and saying the day after the regular season ends, like just imagine this for a second. The day after the regular season ends, the commissioner comes out and says, look, we know that the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs had terrible records this year, but they have so many fans and we get so many viewers when they watch that we're putting the Dallas Cowboys and the Chiefs in the playoffs just because we know so many people like them. And because of that, we have to take 2 teams out that are deserving of being in the playoffs. Like that's what college football is, by the way.
There's a lot of that. I mean, I think you're referring to Alabama, but yes, that's definitely a factor. But then there's the opposite too, which is Notre Dame that has more fans than any team that the NCAA just completely screwed. Like they just said, sorry guys, you're not in because we didn't like your schedule. But they like James Madison's schedule and Tulane. Like I honestly can't wrap my head around the college football business. But I'll watch the games.
I actually won't watch. I mean, I'm actually rooting for Ole Miss. That's Lane Kiffin's old team, right?
Yes.
I'm rooting for them only because I can't stand Lane Kiffin, and I hope they do really well. I couldn't name you one player on their team.
It would be cool if Ole Miss could win because obviously this business with their coach just leaving. And how is it possible?
That's the other thing. That's the other. Coaches leave before the playoffs even start, and you have to hire your new coach for next year before this season even ends. Like, hello, people, just make a rule.
The problem is that there's no one in charge. Like, there's just no one in charge. All the conferences do what they want. It's all about who's going to make the most money. No one really. The whole thing is. It's a big ball of chaos. There's no. You know what's interesting? There's always words in French that don't translate properly in English. That just say it perfectly. So in French, you would say the situation in NCAA football, c'est un bordel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I was hoping you'd say that.
There's no like direct translation to that, but it just means like it's all messed up. All right. So that was this. So just to let everybody know, this is our last episode of 2025. Please go back and re-listen. If you haven't listened to our favorite movies, TV, songs, pop culture stuff, you can go back and listen to the last episode. And I hope you enjoy our picks for our favorite sports stuff of 2025. I know Josh, I enjoyed speaking with you about it today, and I'll speak to you next year.
Normally I would say have a great week, but we may not record again for a month. So I'm going to say have a great month.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.